those of you who saw my preview. I wasn't very excited about the show. I thought the hype suffered from the draft, the break. You know, they usually go on break during December. Um, the matches really didn't grab me all that much. And I basically said NXT Takeover San Antonio was the weakest hyped NXT Takeover to date. And I was very concerned that this might be the one. You know, every promotion has their dips. Not every show is great. And NXT has been consistently giving us good to great to amazing takeovers. And I thought, you know what? If there ever was a time to have a weak show, I mean, this is it. You've lost a huge amount of talent to the draft. People like Samoa Joe, he did with Tommy, Austin Aries, the people who should have stayed and should be working are either moving up or hurt. NXT was dealt a bad hand tonight, and I was concerned. I was thinking to myself, if there was ever going to be a bad show, well, not a bad show, but an underwhelming show, this was it. At NXT, you have yet again proved me wrong. My hat's off to everyone who performed on this show. A round of applause, 2 thumbs up, whatever you want to say. NXT TakeOver San Antonio was a good show. To some people, a really good show. Checking my Twitter feed here, and I put a poll on Twitter asking, how do you feel about NXT TakeOver San Antonio? And looking at it right now, just 100 votes as of right now, because I literally put it up a couple of minutes ago. Out of 100 votes, 96% thumbs up, 4% thumbs down. That's crazy. That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. NXT TakeOver does it again. They have delivered a good show to us. And I'm happy. I guess for me, when it comes to the reason why I expect shows to be bad, is that I am preparing myself. Watching WWE for the longest time. Well, wrestling in general. But I've basically trained my mind and the way I view wrestling in a way where if I know the show or expect the show could be bad, I prepare for it to be bad. And it makes the shows a lot more easier to enjoy or a lot more surprising when they actually deliver. And I felt the need to do the same thing for NXT TakeOver this time. I now know from now on, I will never doubt NXT again. Because if they can deliver a good show with the hand they've been dealt for this card, oh, best believe there is no way they're going to give us a bad show anytime soon. So thank you, NXT, for a great show. And with that said, I guess it's time to talk about NXT. Let's talk about the first match on the card. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Oh, and by the way, this is your boy, Alyx, man. And we are live, in case you didn't recognize it. If you are watching this after the fact, give me your thoughts on the show down below in the comments. And the live chat, you know what to do. I will get to you after the review. But let's get right into it. Let's get right into the first match here. Eric Young versus Ty Dillinger. It's always nice to see the crowd get behind someone as strong as they do, Ty Dillinger. You know, just someone who's universally loved. You rarely get those kind of baby faces where everybody loves them. Everybody wants to root them on. Everybody wants to see them succeed. It's very rare because nowadays we live in the eras of the John Cenas and the Roman Reigns where some like them, some don't. And it's always good to get that one baby face who is a baby face, who can play the role of a hero, a babyface, and actually get the support of a babyface. Unlike people like Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, who are heels. AJ Styles, who is a heel, who gets the love of a babyface. You actually have a guy in Ty Dillinger who is good at his role, get that love and sympathy as a babyface. And I think that's great. And hopefully one day that leads to him at least getting a shot at the NXT Championship. I'm not saying win it. I'm saying get a shot at it. As for this match, I predicted Eric Young would win. I predicted Sanity to outnumber and overpower Ty Dillinger, and it happened. Big Damo and Alexander Wolf consistently interfering in the match and basically making it a 3-on-1 match. And Ty Dillinger failed. He put up a good fight. He tried really hard, but Eric Young conquered Ty Dillinger. And Sanity continues to rule, or at least continues to gain ground. And it was a sad, very tough defeat for Ty Dillinger. Just continues to pile on the fact that this guy just can't get a win. He just can't do anything with NXT. Now, I'll be real with you. Before this match, I did not think Dillinger was going to enter the Royal Rumble. Now, after seeing him lose, there is a good chance Mr. Perfect 10 might be making an appearance at a certain number. Just saying. But Ty Dillinger lost to Eric Young. Let's see where this story leads us. Can't wait to see how he does in the future. Good match. We move on to the next match. Roderick Strong versus Andrade Cien Almas. I'll be real with you. Out of all the matches on this card, this one I was the least excited about. And they impressed me. They beat the hell out of each other. This was a hard-hitting match. It was fisticuffs, punches, elbows, kicks. They beat each other down. And the ruthlessness, the aggression, everything about it, the realism behind it, it just was very intriguing. And it made me like the match more than I thought I was going to like it. Because let's be real. I mean, there is story behind Roderick Strong and Andrade Cien Almas. Cien lost to Strong in that fatal 4-way in December. And Cien hates Roderick for that. But to me, there really wasn't enough, in my personal opinion, there really wasn't enough heat to warrant this being a pay-per-view or live event match. So I wasn't really all that excited about it. And these two turned my head. When it comes to Roderick Strong, he's a really good wrestler. Without question. I'm never going to take anything away from the athleticism of Roderick Strong. However, in my personal opinion, I think I can't put my finger on it, but I gotta be honest with you. I'm not really the biggest fan of Roderick Strong. It's weird. I know he's a good wrestler, but something's missing. I respect him as a performer, but I'm not going to go buy a Roderick Strong t-shirt. Something's missing from him. I've always felt that about Roderick Strong. Every time I see him wrestle or see him have a match, I'm always impressed with him as a performer and with the match. But there's something off about him. I don't know what it is that is missing, but I was hoping that coming to NXT, he can find it. And maybe over time, the more he works with NXT, the more he builds the character, the more he actually connects with the audience. Maybe over time, I will finally become a fan of Roderick Strong. But I gotta be real with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Roderick Strong. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know he's good. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be one of these idiots that just hate them just to hate them. I know he's good. But there's something that he's missing that's just making me not the biggest fan of him. Someone help me out. Maybe you guys can tell me what it is. Maybe you guys feel the same way I do. Maybe you guys feel differently. Who out there is a fan of Roderick Strong, and tell me why? Because I'm missing something from him. He did win the match, though, so that was good. I thought he should have won the match. And I like the there was a spot in the match where Roderick Strong picked up Cien and dropped him on his back on top of the turnbuckle. That looked like it could have broken his spine. It could have snapped his spine. And I thought that was it was a very nice spot. And it was, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Michael Cole. It was vintage Roderick Strong because he is a master of the backbreaker. So it was good. Very good. I'll say it was very good, in fact. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. Again, NXT surprised me. Good job, boys. You went out there and had a better match than I thought. All right. But seriously, give him something. Give Roderick Strong a character, a gimmick, whatever. He's just missing something that's just making me not all that interested. I'm sorry. We'll see over time. With that said, I'll tell you what I was interested in. NXT Tag Team Championship match. The Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering taking on DIY, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. Match of the night for me. Absolutely. I'm very torn between the main event and this match being the best match on the card. But thinking about it and based off of my recent feelings on the show, I was more invested in this match and actually more heartbroken by this match than the main event. Because as I said in my preview, I predicted DIY would lose this match. And I said that the moment they lose, that's the beginning of the end. And man, they fought their asses off. They did everything they could. They pulled out everything in their arsenal to take out the Authors of Pain. And the Authors of Pain, which is, again, something I appreciate about NXT. They book their heels like monsters. They book them like heels. Do they cheat once in a while? Yes. But there are times they don't need to cheat. There are times they just be dominant. They're a dominant tag team. They're a dominant performer. They are just good, which adds more heat to it. Not all of them are cowards. There are coward heels out there, and they do work. But sometimes a heel can just be very good. And the best heels are those guys that don't need to cheat, but do it anyways because they get off on it. The Authors of Pain don't need to cheat. Look at them. They're brutes. Two destructive brutes. And I love their interests. I like when the Authors of Pain were coming out, they had those masks on. I kind of wish, and this is just me, I would love to see them wrestle in the mask. I would love that. I would love to see them just go out inside the ring and wrestle with the mask on. Never take them off. I think it would add more of a dangerous feel to them because they're already dangerous. It would make them seem even more dangerous. But DIY tried so hard. But everything Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa threw at them was literally ineffective. There was a spot in the match where Akeem, I think it's Akeem, was getting beat up by Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa was smacking him, smack. And Akeem was just like, come on, keep hitting me. And then he kicked him, and then he kneed him, and then he smacked him, and he was just like, come on. I'm just like, oh my God, these guys are monsters. And then Tommaso Ciampa runs into the ropes and comes back and gets clotheslined. These guys dominated DIY. And they tried so hard. DIY tried so hard to beat them, they couldn't. The Authors of Pain were just too good. And now they are your new tag team champions. They beat DIY. The audience was heartbroken. The audience hated that finish. They hated it. And it was a good kind of hate. It was the, oh my God, the hero lost, and I want to see the bad guys get beaten kind of hate. The right kind of heat. The kind of heat that if they have a rematch, I'm going to watch it kind of heat. The kind of heat that I do not want to see what happens next unless I see it in person kind of heat. You know, I didn't even say that right. The kind of heat that says, let me try this again. The kind of heat that says, I cannot wait to see what happens next. And I will avoid spoilers. There you go. And I think that's great. NXT, once again, creates a new star. The Authors of Pain have literally become the most dominant tag team since the Ascension. Probably better than the Ascension. I don't see them losing those belts for a long time. I expect them to hold it at least all the way until next year. I don't see them losing those belts at all. It's going to be a while. So, yeah, the Authors of Pain are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. I guess you know what this means, right? The impending Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa split is coming. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. They might get their rematch. I don't see them winning the rematch. It's going to hurt. Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano are going to split up very soon. And it's good. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, but it's going to happen. So, how do you follow up this? To me, I'm thinking, man, that was a great match. I don't know how anybody's going to follow that up. Man, what happened next, I did not see coming. They're going to the back. They're taking their time to build to the next match, which was the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Championship. Next thing you know, Seth Rollins runs into the ring in street clothes, by the way. No entrance music. He just jumps out of the crowd, gets into the ring, gets a microphone, and calls out Triple H. The crowd went crazy. I was surprised. I was like, what the hell is Seth Rollins? But this is great, though. He calls out Triple H, and storyline-wise, if you want to get to Triple H, this is the best way to do it. Go on his show and call him out on his show. I thought that was great. I love that a WrestleMania storyline is actually playing on NXT. It's broadening outside of the WWE walls. I love that. And I think WWE should do that more. You know, storylines should be able to broaden out, should be able to expand outside of Raw and SmackDown. It should go all over the place. I love that. Triple H comes out, of course, because he has to. Rollins had the balls to basically get into the ring and say, we will not continue the show until I meet Triple H. So Triple H comes out to no music, by the way. I appreciate that. He just gives him a look, calls security, and just walks away. Doesn't even give him the time of day. And apparently in the interview, Triple H just went about it. I don't know if he talked about Rollins at all, but he's ignoring Rollins. He's pretending Rollins doesn't exist. So basically the storyline is Rollins is going to have to really get on Triple H's nerves. He is really going to have to push the boundaries. He's really just going to have to do what he has to do to get his attention. And now I'm interested. This is what we need. This is the kind of stuff that makes baby faces, that makes heroes. And I'm finally happy that the storyline between Rollins and Triple H has gotten off the ground. And I think Rollins is going to benefit from it. Real quick. So security comes out and Rollins fights them off, but eventually gets carried away because he's one man and he can't handle all those people. This was awesome. I loved it. Love seeing Rollins on NXT. And I love seeing a WrestleMania storyline play out on NXT. It really makes me want to watch every single episode now. Because if this storyline will play out on NXT, what other storylines are going to play out on NXT? Holy crap, man. I love it. So we follow that up with the Fatal 4-Way NXT Women's Championship. Peyton Royce, Nikki Cross, Billie Kay, and Asuka. And I thought it was a good match. A very good match, in fact. I thought both Asuka and Nikki Cross looked extremely good in this match. But I have to say, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce impressed me. I'll say this. The Peyton Royce and Billie Kay tag team, at first I was about it. I guess to me, the reason why I was about it, because NXT loves to do their women pairing. They like to have that one group of women apart from everybody else. Those two girls that work together always. They did it with Summer Rae and Charlotte and Sasha. They did it with Sasha and Becky Lynch. They did it with Emma and Dana Brooke. Now they're doing it with Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. So when I saw it, to me, I'm just, and this is how I operate, I'm just going to compare them to the past groups, 2 group ups. And I'm sorry. I just think when they first started, I was just, they're not as good as Emma and Dana Brooke. They're not as good as Summer Rae, Charlotte, and Sasha. It's just what it is. But as time went by, and when I saw them in this match, I gotta be honest with you, I'm beginning to grow on them. They're beginning to grow on me. And some really good stuff in this match. I like the story of Asuka and Nikki just being these complete off-the-cuff badasses that just want to rip everybody apart, including each other. And Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are just kind of having to play it smart, having to play in the background, kind of scout things out and then jump in when nobody is expected. But I also like the fact that they were working together. They were working as a team. They were working as a unit to take on these 2 girls. And there were times both Nikki Cross and Asuka were just taking them apart. It made Nikki and Asuka look very good. But it also made Peyton Royce and Billie Kay look smart. I really liked the double suplex through the table spot. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay double suplex Nikki Cross through the table, and that put her out for the entire match. Believably, it protected Nikki Cross from looking weak, if anything else. Leaving Asuka to take on Peyton Royce and Billie Kay by herself. And there was a spot in the match where I think it was Peyton Royce who did a leaping Widow's Peak tribute to Victoria, but a leaping Widow's Peak, and I thought that was it. And then Asuka breaks the pin with a bridge. She bridged out of the pinfall. I thought that was so badass. I thought that was cool. But then Asuka ends up beating Peyton Royce with the her Asuka kick. The Japanese buzzsaw kick. Buzzsaw kick. Let's just go with that. Because it basically is Tajiri's buzzsaw kick. So she beat her with the buzzsaw kick, and Asuka retains. Based off of what my good old pal and buddy and possibly next NXT Women's Champion, Ember Moon, said on the pre-show, kickoff show, whatever you want to call it, before the show, she wants a shot at Asuka for the Women's Championship. She has put it out there. She has let it be known that she wants a shot at Asuka. That is the next match. I do think Nikki Cross and Asuka will fight each other in a future episode. But as for the next Takeover Women's match, it's gotta be Ember Moon versus Asuka. It's gotta be. And I do think that is where Asuka will fall. I think Ember Moon will beat Asuka at that event. We will see, but that needs to be the next match. That match is going to be, dare I say it, glorious! Speaking of glorious, let's talk about this match. Let's talk about the main event. Man, I'll tell you what. Ooh, let me get some water for this one. Because Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the NXT Championship. First off, I love the 2 entrances. The 2 entrances could have been the match itself. I love that San Antonio was singing with them. By the way, San Antonio, you are a great audience. Keep that energy for the Royal Rumble. Okay? Carry that same exact energy into the Alamo Dome tomorrow, because we're going to need it. Especially since it's going to be 6 hours long. Oh my God, 6 hours long. Anyways, yeah, the entrances for both men were great. You had the audience singing for Bobby Roode, glorious, I will defend, I will give in till I'm victorious. That was awesome. And then you got Shinsuke Nakamura's theme, ooh, and all that jazz. It was like the NXT choir came to life. Because that's basically what it was. It was a showcase of the NXT choir. So I love both entrances. It was pretty cool. It was cool seeing that entire audience get themselves so excited about a match over the entrances. And the crowd was hot. They were hot for this main event throughout the entire thing. And I think Bobby Roode and Shinsuke carried it very well. There was a portion of the match that was slow. I think the first 10 minutes were fine. Afterwards, it kind of dragged somewhere in there. I don't know. It just kind of felt like I was beginning to doze off a little bit. Not doze off, like doze off, but I was not watching it as much. How about that? But I'll tell you what I was watching. The moment Shinsuke snapped on Bobby Roode and then just went on a flurry, just kicking him and punching him and just beating the hell out of him. And then he does a fucking jumping knee attack, flying knee to Bobby Roode on the apron, and then hits the knee on the apron. And then I'm sitting there going, he's hurt. Because the way he landed on the apron and the way he was grabbing his leg, I'm thinking, uh-oh. I think he popped his leg out of the socket. I think he actually hurt himself. And I was sitting there going, oh my God, he's actually hurt. I thought, you're either a really good seller or you're hurt. And even now, I'm going to be real with you. Some of you are saying it was an injury angle. It was him selling it. There's a side of me that thinks he actually hurt himself. Because you had trainers go out there. You had Matt Bloom out there. A-Train, Albert, Prince Albert, whatever you want to call him. You had all these people out there. And I don't know. It felt like he did hurt himself. And, you know, the smart fan in me, when I saw Matt Bloom, I'm thinking, okay, he's basically telling them to change the matchup, call an audible, have Bobby Roode win the match. I'm sorry, that is what I was thinking. I'm not saying that's what happened, but to me, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh man, maybe he was hurt. There's that side of me that wants to believe that this match had Shinsuke Nakamura winning, and then they changed it because he actually got hurt. To me, even if that didn't happen, to get me to feel that way, you know the match was good. That last act where Shinsuke had to wrestle with a bad leg was awesome. That made the match so good because you saw Bobby Roode hit the glorious DDT and Shinsuke kicks out because I thought it was over when he hit that first DDT. I'm thinking that's it. And then Shinsuke kicked out and I'm thinking, is Shinsuke going to win this match with a bad leg? Is he going to win this match with a bad leg? And then Bobby Roode locked in the one-legged Boston Crab. And then Shinsuke got some offense on him, but couldn't follow up. He couldn't finish it because Bobby Roode hit another glorious DDT and pins him. 1, 2, 3. I don't believe it. Bobby freaking Roode is your NXT champion. Now, remember, he's not the fastest rising NXT champion. That's still Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens won that. Shoot. He won that real quickly. Like within a month or so. He won that in a month. And he won it by KO. So that, to me, is still the best NXT championship victory of all time. That's just my opinion. But Bobby Roode had a very fast climb to that NXT championship. You cannot take that away from him. He beat Shinsuke Nakamura. And I love the story that Shinsuke could have stopped the match, but he wanted to continue. And basically, you can't really get mad at Bobby Roode for taking advantage of it. Yes, it's not the honorable thing to do. You know, he took advantage of a wounded guy. But in this world, that's wrestling. You know, it's small stuff like that. It's small stuff like that that really adds to the heel aura. It just really makes you not like Bobby Roode even more. It's the fact that he took advantage of a weak, wounded man. But then he's going to play it up like he beat him. And he'll brag about it. He'll make a big deal about it. But what can we do about it? Seriously, like, what can you do about that? He beat him in a match. So, yeah, I got to tell you, man. So apparently people are telling me right now in the live chat that Nakamura is really hurt. As in, he really got injured and he's going for an MRI. So that wasn't audible. They are calling it audible, basically. Wow. Are you sure about that? Because I haven't looked at anything outside of what I have here on my script. So I'm going to assume that Shinsuke actually did get hurt and they changed the match at the last second. Let me look this up. Let me go ahead and check this out real quick. Let me see what the Twitter universe is saying, because I haven't checked out anything yet. Because breaking news, let me see. Hold on. Breaking news. Nothing too much. Nothing too much is being said. Yeah, I guess we'll see in the future. But I guess Triple H is letting us know that storyline-wise, Nakamura is going to be out for a while. It's fine with me. I'm fine with that. If he got hurt, he needs to take a break. Now, with that said, I do want to talk about end of the year awards that was announced before the show, but I figured it'd be cool to save it after the show. So NXT did its end of the year awards. It's been announced that the tag team of the year was the Revival. I like that. Thought that was really cool. Match of the year, of course, goes to Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY versus the Revival. 2 out of 3 falls, NXT Toronto. One of the best matches of that year. One of the best tag team matches I've ever seen, without question. Breakout star of the year, surprisingly, isn't Ember Moon. It's Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. So maybe a lot more people like him than I thought. Female of the year, without question, is Asuka. And it was Asuka. She won it. Male of the year, without question, was Shinsuke Nakamura. And he won that. And overall competitor of the year was, again, Shinsuke Nakamura. So that was their end of the year awards. And I thought that's a pretty good list. Basically, everybody that they chose, I would have chosen too. Except for Breakout Star of the Year. I would have given that to Ember Moon. That's just me. But I'm not mad at Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. You know, I never really had any problems with the two women. I just kind of felt like when you do something similar to something done in the past, I'm always going to be left comparing. And I've always been comparing Billie Kay and Peyton Royce to the past female posse, the past female groups on NXT. And I mean, even now, I'm not saying they're the greatest, but they're fine. I don't mind them. They're not my first choice. How about that? They're a good choice. They're just not my first choice. So with that said, thank you guys. Let's take it to the live chat. I now give it to the live chat. What grade would you give NXT Takeover San Antonio? Give me your thoughts. What you feel was the best match on the show? Talk to me, guys. What you got going on in the live chat? Besides everybody saying that Ember Moon should have won Breakout Star of the Year, because a lot of people actually voted for Ember Moon to win. But it is what it is. All right, got the grades coming in. Let's see here. A, B, B plus, A, B, B plus, A. Okay, B, A. A lot of A's. People thought it was a better show than the grade I gave it. Okay, B plus, B. What was the match of the night? Tag match was the best match of the night. Okay, so everybody agrees that the tag match was the best match, because it was. It was a really good match, absolutely. A plus, A minus, 9 out of 10, which is an A. That works. A lot of A pluses. That's good, man. Solid A. 10. Ty Dillinger 10. Everybody's saying that the best match was the tag match. Absolutely. That's definitely the best match of the show. Well, guys, we're off to a good start for the Royal Rumble weekend. NXT delivered a really good takeover with the roster they had. Even with the bad hand they've been dealt, NXT TakeOver still showed out and gave us a good show. Which lets me know that I should never, ever doubt NXT again. You hear me? I will never, ever doubt NXT. So help me. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow for my Royal Rumble review. Now, do know this. The Royal Rumble review will not be live. I'm just letting you know now. The Royal Rumble review will not be live. I am going to record my Royal Rumble review with the casual viewer and another friend of mine. But there will be a review up tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me for this live review. I will catch you at my next video. Thank you guys for being awesome. Subscribe, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, buy the Deluxe Man t-shirt. donate to my PayPal. Everything down below in the description box. And I will catch you guys next time in the Lex Man's World. I'm signing out. See you later.